Well, that's good.
That's good. All right. Welcome everybody to the platform development update. We are planning to, my name is Balázs Bézi, and we are today planning to share the latest updates from the past 2 weeks on the platform platform development teams. And we are planning this session less than 60 minutes. Depending on your questions, which we will have a dedicated session at the end of this update. So we will have a Q&A session at the very end. Please feel free to raise your questions, comments, feedbacks in the live chat below. All right, without further ado, let's start with the first team, which is TenderDash.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dmitry from TenderDash team. Well, on the past week, we released new version of TenderDash for Drive team. Well, it's still a development version, but it's kind of it's workable for Drive, and they can use it in order to work on integration, our new features. So regarding to stabilizing, so first we worked on improvement write headlock replay mechanism. This task still in progress, but it's already reviewed, and we just wanna take some time in order to test it again. So what is what is task? Some time ago we found the issue where if TenderDash has to replay write headlock with a lot of rounds, it can take very long time. So we decided to add an option that can allow us to skip all rounds beside last one, because the last round is necessary and it's needed in order to modify the state. So next task is a catch up round numbers and not correct. So basically it's related to, when we catch up, we have a wrong number of round. And in order to fix this issue, we decided to add a round to a block meta. So basically, it's kind of a technical internal task. Also, some time ago, we received a request from infra team to support the way work with the empty Genesis doc configuration. Basically, if we do not provide some required data, we cannot start our node. So, and we supported by the request, only one required field, that should be chain ID. The rest field will be optional because we can consume them after when we start, we can consume them from init chain ABCI request. Final task in this group, put full block in a request finalize block. So basically we have a contract between TenderDash and ABCI application, and we modify this contract. Instead of providing the list of fields which we take from the block, and by every request from Drive team, we just need to modify new contract again and put the fields again and again. We decided to put full block, and Drive will decide what data necessary to retrieve and validate it or work with it. Well, second big part of our effort is investigation deadlocks. So first task is a refactory consensus state. So some time ago, we identified the potential problem with the deadlock in the consensus state, because we have two synchronization primitives which we use in order to sync our state. First one is the channel, second one is mutex, and sometimes we can, if we use both these primitives, we can have a deadlock. So, and we decided to redesign a little bit application, and finally we can kind of eliminate this possible deadlock.
Could you, I'm sorry to cut you off. Could you just quickly explain what a deadlock is for people that are watching that don't know?
Okay, so yeah, so basically the design of state component in the TenderDash We use it, yeah, just to be on the same page. So TenderDash written in Golang. And Go provides some primitives in order to have full synchronization. First one is a channel, and second one is mutex. Basically, we have kind of another one, but we use both those primitives in one component. And the state uses the channels in order to consume the message. We have a kind of multiple channels. And we retrieve the message from the channel and with this method process it. For instance, that message which we can consume might change our state. It's like an event. And same time, inside this component, in order to take the data which we shared with other Go routines, because we work in concurrency mode, we use a mutex, because some code can call the method from the state component in order to retrieve some data, for instance, the current height. And it leads, since we have two primitives which we manage inside the state component, it leads finally to deadlock. And one hint, I would say, one dirty hack from a TenderDash team was to create a quite large number of buffer of channel, like 1,000 with pre-allocated channel with 1,000 possible messages. It's like a buffer of channel. And it kind of guarantees that if we start to write into the channel, we do not block our application. So, and we have multiple kind of hacks in the code which we identified, and we try to solve this kind of problem and redesign a little bit in order to do not use two primitives which can conflict.
No, thanks for that explanation. That was, by the way, guys, that was an explanation for computer scientists. The TLDR for non-computer scientists is deadlocks, just things.
Well, yeah, basically it's pretty big task, and we already have some achievement on this way. At least it test with my refactoring already works, so but it's still far away to the final solution, because we need to clean up, fix unit test and other stuff which related to the stability. Okay, the next one is add deadlock detector. We already have one before. By some reason we removed the detector. It's kind of external library which we connected again. That is really helps us to find the deadlock in our application. So well, next one is a state sync stop the node. Yeah, quite interesting case with a state sync. When we start our application, when we start TenderDash node, we have some kind of pipeline. We have to sync block synchronization, we have a state synchronization, we have something else before to start our node in normal way, like it works in consensus mode. And yeah, and we have a problem with the state synchronization. And one of the problem, if the light client, we have internal implementation in our light client, and if light client fails, then it affects state sync, and state sync affects the whole node. And finally, the node will corrupt. Yeah, currently we're working on this task in order to eliminate this behavior. So as I'm aware, Lucas already creates something like a retry mechanism. If we fail with the light client, we try to do another round of request. Well, yeah, Lucas can provide more information if it needed. The same is the next task, deadlock and appear up. It's pretty similar. I don't want to put on it a long time. And last one, yes, yeah, and the last task is also related to the state synchronization. Well, what's load before testing phase? It's similar with the slide from the last review session. We still working on stabilizing same block execution. Also, wait for a green light in order to merge our already our work, our new version implementation of BLS library for the Go. And and we're also support drive team with integration TenderDash. So.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move on to GroveDB. Wisdom, would you kick us off?
Guys. Yeah, my name is Wisdom. I'm from the GroveDB team. So this sprint, we worked on the sum tree merge on the cost branch. So this has been implemented, and this includes the average cost feature also. So currently it's in review, and once this is done, it will be merged in finally. Then during the week, we discovered an issue with the batch logic. Basically, it was losing the root hash of some of the child nodes, child trees, and it didn't propagate it up correctly. So this was fixed during the course of the sprint and has been merged in. So I pass it on to Sam to talk about average cost.
Yes. So in the very past, and a long time ago, if anybody's been following, we had a certain way of dealing with costs called worst case costs. And as time went by, we realized that the worst case was actually really, really, really bad. And in the sense that like the fees would have been too high. The way our fee system works is that there's a first round that just checks to see if you have enough balance before for the worst case cost, now for the average case cost. And if you have enough balance, then your state transition can enter the mempool. Often, the actual cost is lower it's always lower than the worst case cost, but the problem was the worst case cost could be really, really bad. So we changed this into average case costs. And the difference is that the average case cost more resembles the actual cost that you will pay without actually knowing the state in advance. It can give a pretty good approximation of the cost that you will have for processing. The average case cost also always knows the storage cost, which generally accounts for about 90 to 95% of the actual cost that users are going to pay. So even if this average case cost is a little bit off, it's very close to the actual cost that users are going to pay overall. Let's go to the next slide. So after average case costs were merged in this week, that's basically version 0.6 of GroveDB. So that was released. What's left? So some trees merge. That's currently in review. That's v0.7. And what do we have left? So we have a light proof feature, which is actually for mobile clients to verify proofs that GroveDB gives it. And that's not really holding up platform. It's more of a client side feature. So, that can happen in about a month from now. There's some code polishing that's just there to say, okay, we might need to change this or that. But basically the big items are now done for GroveDB. And once some trees is merged in, that will really liberate me and Wisdom to start working on other parts. So pretty much after subtree merge is merged in, you guys won't hear about GroveDB probably for the next month until we, we're done. So it's very good. It's one slightly bad thing is that we had put the average case cost as minor. It ended up being thousands of lines of code. So it was a little bit more than minor, but it is now done. And with that, let's go on to SDK.
Hey, everyone. Nice to see you. So the goal for the sprint was to finally complete reworking of the chain synchronization process for JS Wallet. And we finally did it. So we merged everything in master, tested many times on testnet, with platform test suite and etc. So this work is done. And I'm super happy to announce that because I've been doing that for the past 5 months or so.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The other thing was an update of gRPC web library that we are using in Duck client for web clients. The reason for that was to make it eligible for publishing into web extensions store to publish Chrome extension, which is going to be the next topic, the next slide. We also had some updates in web extension. We had a feature of wallet balance displayed in USD, and we also implemented create reset backup wallet flows, and migrating extension from manifest v2 to v3 is still in progress. So that being said, I will show you first 2 items in the list. Okay. So let's go to the balance feature first. Let me get some random items. Okay, so there it is. You can see 2 extensions on the screen. And you can see USD balance and USD balance of transactions. And we also fixed bug with fees that we had. As well, will be displayed in about 5 seconds. So we're sending money to address, clicking send, and there it is. Network fee. Okay, not that. Sorry. Yeah, network fee and a total amount which combines the sending amount and network fee. For that, we were subtracting that for some reason. Yeah, so this is the sent amount and this is the received amount. And feature set number 2, starting a new wallet. So there you see create new wallet and restore wallet from recovery trace options. We'll go with the create new wallet first. Yeah, so it creates a new wallet and offers you to back up your wallet right away, but you could skip it if you don't want it. You don't want to do it for now. So yeah. Now we have to verify the seed trace. This will take a while. I'll just probably skip a little bit this puzzle. Yeah, so all done and set, and wallet start synchronization. After that, we are proceeding to more screen and to view recovery trace page. Pretty much the same as it was in the beginning of the video, and also reset wallet feature. Yeah. So there is one issue with the wallet trace wallet lifecycle. So reset wallet is not redirecting you instantly at the wallet page to the synchronization, and you have to, for now, do this once again to restore wallet from the recovery phrase. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, making a proper wallet lifecycle is going to be one of our next challenges to make the extension work properly, and this should be a part of the MVP. We haven't implemented the pin code view yet because this is kind of separate topic. We have to research how to securely store mnemonic into browser storage and to make it right, so that nothing leaks your private keys. Yeah, this is it from my side. Let me stop. Okay, and yeah, we could return back to presentation.
Yeah, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. Yeah, and what's next stays pretty much the same as it was last sprint. We continue working on security of the synchronization process, and secure keychain storage also is one of the important things we have to do. So yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Let's go on with the protocol part. Javid.
Hello there. Nice to see you too. Javid's here, and so protocol goals for the sprint were same block execution, fees, and withdrawals. Could you? Yeah, too much. So for the fees, we have finalized it as well as part of our merge with Authorize Drive and platform into monorepo, except a few parts. One of them is fee refunds, which are next major what's left, and average case costs integration, which Sam mentioned before. Regarding withdrawals, as you see here, we have separate stories. They are now merged into one big PR, which is tested. However, the part is left is we have to move the code into monorepo, which we are now working in, and the last set of revenues, which makes me extremely happy because it's like a day or two away from being done. Yeah, that's regarding withdrawals. And the next part is same block execution, and I believe I should pass it to Kostya.
Thank you, Javid. So the first thing is that actually we realized that we don't need to use multiple database transactions for block processing. Sam, could you give us a little bit explanation about it?
Yeah, sure. So the way TenderDash works is that for every block, every round, for example, either the round will succeed or the round will not succeed. In the case that the round will not succeed, you get a proof that the round will not succeed by a vote saying that the majority of the network believes that the round was made in an incorrect way. If the round does succeed, well, it does succeed, but in no case would you have a state where multiple rounds need to be simultaneously processed. The reason why this story was originally made was because of an erroneous message in the Tendermint docs saying that this could appear. But as we dived more deep into it, we realized that no, it can't happen. Because it cannot happen, well, we don't need to spend any time on it anymore. So it's as good as done. We removed it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sam. So the next task, we added some additional information into the metadata, into the requests or request responses. This in Drive. The next slide, please. We fixed a bug in reconnect logic in DAPI, so now it handle Drive connections much better, and we fixed dash pay contract as well. So now you can use two user IDs which are not valid actually. So two user IDs cannot be equal to the owner ID, for example, and some other minor changes. I guess that's it from my side.
Cool, I'll take over from here. So even though we have Identity v2 and efficient data serialization on the board, there was little progress done on them, mostly because they were pretty much my tasks, and I worked on average case processing instead, mostly because I just really want to get GroveDB done. So there's nothing left there, and then me and Wisdom can move over to other parts. So Identity v2 is not, there's not much left. I think probably 80% of it was written, but I might have done another 1 or 2 days on it about 2 weeks ago. So, you know, there's probably another day or two of work there. Efficient data serialization. Yeah, that goes with Identity v2. There's a lot together in the same pull request. Integration of average case costs. Okay, so this is something that needed to happen after the average case cost was built in GroveDB. The way average case costs work is that for every level of the database, you actually tell GroveDB what the level looks like. And the way GroveDB works, it's a multi-dimensional tree where you have levels of Merk trees, basically. And each one of these Merk trees is really a subset of types of Merk trees. And like, for example, one Merk tree can be very big and one Merk tree could be very small with only like 5 possible elements. And a Merk tree that's like has 1 million elements and a Merk tree that has maybe 5 elements or 1 element or 2 elements, well, they're not going to cost the same when you update nodes on that tree. So on average. So you basically, for every level, when you submit your batch of operations into GroveDB, you basically can say, how does the overall tree structure of GroveDB look like when I'm making a potential request, and then it will give you back the average case cost without knowing what's actually in the state. So this is very useful, for example, for light clients, and also for stopping transactions to go into mempool before identities well, you have to make sure that the identity has enough balance before they can enter the mempool. Cool. Another task was basically we combined RS platform and platform. Platform was previously pretty much only written in JavaScript. And then we had made RS platform, which was RS Drive and RS DPP, all the work that had been done by Anton and Powell and later Evgeny in merging over JavaScript to Rust. Well, that was all in its own project, and now we've merged everything together as we needed to do that closer to final release. So that was a big accomplishment in this sprint. Okay, next slide. So what's left? Am I taking this one, Balash?
Yes.
Okay, what's left? So we previously had pretty much the same thing 2 weeks ago here. What mostly happened in the protocol side of things was there was a lot of stuff that was in progress, and most of that stuff now is in review, as you saw before. It's either in review or done, and so there was a lot of progress on the things that were already in progress. In the stuff that's what's left, yeah, not much was taken. I mean, nothing here was taken on. What we're going to try to do now to speed up this process is, as you've seen, GroveDB is pretty much close to done. So that's going to liberate me and Wisdom, and then me and Wisdom are basically going to come on here and tackle more stuff, as well as, you know, all the protocol developers will be able to tackle it as well, as their tasks are also finishing. I'm not really going to go through these things because I think we did 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But if anybody has any questions, please, you know, ask the question on the slide.
All right. Let's see Rust port update. Anton?
Sure. Hello, everybody. Anton's here. And I'm going to give you a little update on our Rust port. So as I mentioned the last time, we were working on porting all the tests from the JS platform DPP implementation into the Rust and making sure that two implementations are compatible with each other. We worked on a little bit of tests. We've ported 91 in total in the previous sprint. So it's 159 in total. But then we realized that there is a larger thing we want to do, and that's porting consensus error, our error framework that we use to keep consensus in check. And we've decided to port all the consensus errors first, and then actually run the tests. So since the porting consensus error is in progress now, we've ported a little bit less than half of those errors. And all those errors implement more than a half of all test cases. The total number of tests we've worked on so far is closer to 400 or somewhere around this mark. But because this is still in progress, I didn't want to include this number in the overall progress. We've also integrated the BLS scheme I was talking about the last time, and we've made everything work. BLS signing of some state transitions, signature verification, validation of BLS keys, and everything that is related to BLS. All right, I think that's all the updates so far. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to the Q&A part. The first question is, only 4 weeks to go till the end of 2022. Will you be able to be feature complete by then so that intensive testing can begin? Sam?
Yeah, sure, I'll take that one. Well, we'll probably be feature complete on GroveDB tomorrow, except, I mean, feature complete for everything that's needed for platform will be tomorrow. Then there's another thing that's needed for mobile, but I don't think that really counts. For platform, it will be, you know, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 2 days if something goes wrong, but it will be very soon. For TenderDash, and then basically me and Wisdom will be liberated from, or freedom, I guess. But I mean, we love the GroveDB project, but we'll be able to go out and help on other parts. On TenderDash side, I do strongly believe that they will be done with what's needed in time. In protocol side, well, as I said, we have a list of tasks, but most of them are done. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be tight. But there's just not much left. I just am hoping that we're not all coding on Christmas Day. Yeah, it's going to be a little tight. And in the Rust dashboard update, I do believe it will be ready, looking at things. Does anybody have in the team have any information that I don't have that wants to contradict me? It's okay. You can speak up.
Sounds about right to me.
Yeah.
I agree that it's tight.
It's tight.
It's possible.
It is possible. There's just not much left. But, you know, there's always that worrying thing. What if something goes wrong at the last minute? But I really don't.
Yeah, most of the time, the integration parts are the trickiest. So the last pieces are the hardest to put in place. I mean, also to see forward what can come up. So it's hard to predict, but based on the features we see ahead of us, it's possible.
Yeah. So you know what? It's going to be a very fun month, and yeah, I'm actually really, really excited.
We are working hard on it. All right. So next question. I sent an email 10 days ago to Brian Foster to ask when Android-based testnet for mobile would be released for testing. No answer to us so far. What information do you have?
Sure. I'm trying to remember what was said. Balázs, do you remember better than me?
I remember that we wanted to release V23 to testnet this week, but
Yes.
since Ivan got sick badly, it might not happen fully this week.
Yeah.
He's a major contributor to these releases.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. You know, some people get sick. It happens. And even though other people could stop their work to do that, it's sometimes just better to wait.
Right.
And Brian did just answer. Yeah, we do have so we have V18.2 of Quora coming out very shortly. I believe this week. I'm afraid if I said something that's not the case. And we have V19 coming also quite soon. So Brian might be waiting for those. And I think that is what he says he's waiting for.
Yeah, and he is also replying in the chat as well right now. All right, so thanks for the questions. All right, I might just read it out loud. Wasted System wrote that normally I don't watch these live, but I do watch them all. Without these updates, I probably would have sold my Dash and moved on. Keep the working going and these development updates. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Is there any other question you see in the comments?
I do not.
Me neither. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for watching us, even if it's live or even if it's right after or after if it's live from the record. And I guess we will see each other in 2 weeks and hopefully give you good news. We are working hard on it to make it happen. Thanks everybody. Bye guys.